Hi, what's going on, guys? Welcome to JEDIOSHI. It's Friday, March 25th. Just want to do a quick video today. Did some longer videos this week, so hopefully you just wanted to do a 10 or so minute video and just cover some charts, what I'm looking at. We've had some interesting recent price action here, both equities and Bitcoin. We'll look at that, but this is the daily Dow Jones chart. We were consolidating here around the 0.5 fib and pushed out early this morning, only to be sold off. And we'll see what happens, but looks like this afternoon we're gaining some strength. We're off the lows, and it'll be interesting to see where we close, both the weekly and the daily here on the equities market. But that's all I'm going to show you on the equities side. Won't look at the S&P much, but they're all about the same. Kind of consolidating here at the 0.5. Recall that in the videos this week, we talked about the Bitcoin fib level being at the 0.236. So Bitcoin still has some catching up to do. It does need to resolve out of this lower level, and we're going to take a look at that and look for key levels to be watching for. But yeah, eyes on equities, as we always do have, because they are tied and strongly correlated. Not much else to show there. On the dollar, we're still chopping at the top here. This again acts as, I would say, friction. For higher, basically, or pressure, so higher prices mean that bulls have to push harder to get the same price movement, right? So if we get a dollar decline maybe next week or something, and this does fall back, I would expect the bulls to have an easier job to push up. That's about all that shows. The Bitcoin relative chart, we looked at this again. The Bitcoin and crypto has a bit of catching up to do. So we'll see what happens. What we're seeing again, it's interesting, is that today we're seeing that equities, pushing up but finding resistance and being sold off, has also sold off of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's also at a pretty critical level. So let's take a look at it. This is the weekly chart, and we have two levels to watch. One is, and I haven't shared this with you, but the 50 MA, the 50 weekly moving average, is at 45.8. And this horizontal level of resistance, prior support, new resistance, is at 45.5. So this is a pretty hard level to break. And either way we resolve it, if we find that it is resistance and we get rejected, that's one thing. If we can break this, it'll be a really strong signal, because being above or below the 50 on the weekly, historically and statistically, is a strong position to be in. Either way. So if you're above it, it's good for the bulls. If you're below it, it's good for the bears. So we'll see how this weekly resolves. Obviously, we have almost a little over 2 days left. Weekly RSI is up and above 50 for now. It has to close, so we'll see where that closes. We've had two pretty solid green weeks this week, so it's been pretty good for for the bulls. But again, can we get through this level? We'll see. Let's go down as low as the 4 hour. And what I was showing you guys in the Telegram was I'm not really too concerned until we break down, until this structure breaks down. You've seen the prior trends break, but we have that. Switch that back over. That trend, and then we've actually started a higher angle trend here, and we have an even higher angle trend here. So until these start breaking, I'm not too concerned that we're going to be down at least for a longer period of time. We may have to get rejected, and we may consolidate. So there's a difference between consolidating at the top, which would be like that, before we finally blast out, if that's what we do. There's a difference between consolidating and getting rejected. Getting rejected would be a fall through here, and then through here. I'm not too concerned until we break down below, I would say 43. Let's call it 43K. 42.5, 43K. So if we break down below 42, 43K, then I think that we will at least come down to test this floor, this level here. At 40, we'll come down to test 40K again. The thing I'm watching for on RSI is a break of this trend and 65. So I'm not too concerned until I see us with candles closing below these trend lines and down into here. So down below this trend and down below this trend. That's when I think, okay, we got rejected, and now I think we're coming down to, say, 40K. And we'll see if that holds. And if that doesn't hold, then, you know, we've talked about scenarios down here and what that looks like. However, the day's not over, the week's not over, equities are bouncing back, giving strength. Bitcoin did get sold off up here at the top, not too surprising, you know, for a consolidation and a range here, regaining strength, having to push through. But look, one thing I've also pointed out is this push is single, look at it, it's single wall or single candle, right? So it's, in my experience, this is not as strong as a move like this. So this is a weaker move than a more robust move is something with a lot of thickness to it. So see how this is pretty thin wall, and this is pretty thin wall right here. Sorry, got it. This is a lot more robust, robust of a move. So can this break this level? If we get rejected, yeah, I think we for sure come down to here and maybe lower. But if we can find the strength and break through, then, you know, I think it'll be a good thing for, obviously for Bitcoin, but also for the alts. I think the alts might pop quick too. And there's a chance that we get a few weeks, you know, a couple weeks of alts moving up pretty quickly. And possibly we get that quick retrace. So sorry, I'm kind of all over the place here, but basically we're kind of at a go, no go situation. Let me draw this back on here at 45.5-ish. And if we can break this, the next level for me is here at 452. So we could find ourselves in this range. If we can break up, we could find ourselves a little bit range bound. We may break up, retest, come back, and we're gonna have to find the strength to come and break this level. And then we'll see what happens with that. That could be a rejection point, send us down, and or we break that, and then we get a little bit higher, back to that fib level. So we'll keep watching it. Obviously, I'm just watching the chart and the breakdowns. So I'm looking for breakdown. I'm looking for weakness. I'm looking for signals. Signals guide what my actions and what I plan to do. So haven't seen that yet. But what I real quick, what I promised you guys was a look at, and this is Coinbase, a little habit. Let me take the MA off. There we go. What I wanted to show you was, and let me take this indicator off. There we go. Okay. What I wanted to show you was, let's zoom out to all the way back to 2015. And let me show you, because what I was looking at last night was, guys, when was the last, okay, you can see all this. There you go. Okay. And let me increase this a little bit so you can see more resolution down here in the RSI. Okay. So we have on the weekly, we have come down below this 35 level. And the way I trade is I have RSI at 9 and 65 and 35 for my range on RSI. We have come down from top side, overbought. This is back in November. And we've come to oversold. So we've reset. Kind of how I look at it is price trades from one side to the other. You have trade here, come down to here, move back up here, move back down here. You have this smaller one, and you move back down here. And you did have a little bit of hesitation here, but came up here, down to here. So price trades this, right? So statistically speaking, from this point, seeing that RSI is up here above 50, statistically, I think we go up here first, you know, unless we see a breakdown, right? Could be a mid-range, which are a little more rare, but I think, you know, that we're seeing strength, and that's a good thing. But let me show you, I'm going to delete that. Let me show you, let's look at the last few times the RSI. So we have one here. The RSI has gone oversold below 35 and come back up, okay? We'll zoom in on this one, and then I won't zoom in on the other ones, but basically see this RSI fell down through 35 and came back up. So that's what I'm looking for. When has this happened in the past? Right there. Okay. So back to 2015. So this is 7 years of data, right? So within 7 years, and I don't count this one because I didn't go quite below 35, but I count this one. I came down below 35 and back up through 35. There's one. And I have another one right here. And granted, yeah, you came up a little bit, bounced back and rejected, but you came back up. I'll call that one. And back to 15 here. So in the so this is a group, that's a group. And actually, I think this was one. I'm sorry, I missed it. This was actually a valid. I zoomed in, and there was a week below that level. Came back up. Okay. So in the past 7 years, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4 times where we've had RSI come down from the bottom, from oversold, above 35, and then you have resulting market action. Okay, let's look at the last 3. So in the last 3, what happened? Let's look at price gain. From here, now I'm going to go to just the top. It's a 275% gain. This one is 60, about or so, just roughly approximate. And this one all the way to the top is about 11x, right? So the smallest move you've had in the moves that have resulted from coming up from the oversold condition through 65, the smallest move we've had, and it's been the first move. It wasn't down from this here. All 3 of these have been up. The smallest move we had has been about 60%. 60%, 275% in the other one, and 1100% or so in the other one, in the final. Now, granted, you could argue bull market, bear market. These are, I would say, well, bear market is here, bull market probably starts around here. So if this is bear market, let's just say that we get, this moves up from that point in which we crossed 35, so we move up 60%. That's 57.5K. And where is 57.5K? It is, let's see. I think I did that right. It's about the 702. The 55, 58K level is what we're anticipating to be a retrace. Now, a lot of assumptions, if this is the top, if it's not the top, whatever. But when we cover that many, many times, we could possibly put in one of these and then possibly, even go higher or something like that. But my point is, when you zoom out and look at what's happened in the past, after a weekly RSI is reset, gone to the oversold, come back up, it's resulted in a substantial gain for Bitcoin. Granted, it's 3 times. Statistically, I look for 7 to 9 to be a lot more valid, but we have, for 7 years, every time we've done this, we've resulted in an up move. Now, does that mean it's going to happen for sure? No, it doesn't mean that. But, it's more, when I look at the charts, just for the charts, what are the charts saying? I believe being long this market right now is the right side of the market. If we were coming down from the top, okay, back in November or back in April, May, or even in, this was April, May, or November. If we were on this side of the RSI track and breaking down, I would be coming out here saying that I believe the right side of the market is bearish. If you're here and you're starting to move towards the center from this side, I believe statistically it's better to be short the market than it is to be long the market, including back here in this time period, in this time period. Every time you break from the top side here on RSI and you come down to the middle, statistically it's bears in control. And when you're on the bottom side or oversold, when you're oversold and you start moving up towards the center, statistically it is bulls in control. So all that to say, I believe that we're on the right side of the market. I do like the weekly RSI setup. We do have some overhead resistance. I've said this many times, but again, 45, 45.5 with 50 weekly MA. It'll be real interesting to see how we resolve Equities are moving here into close. We have 2 hours to close. Equities are bouncing back up. Bitcoin's rebounding. We're chopping. We're really just chopping below this level. So a little bit early to call whether or not this breaks or this breaks up or down. We're waiting to see what happens here. So that's it in a nutshell. I didn't want to, we'll next week, we'll look at 2017. I'm actually studying. Let me see if I can show you, but I'm actually studying. Yeah, I'm looking at cycles and times and percents and what that might mean. I'm looking at these lobes and looking at what alts did, everything. I'll have more for you next week. But that's about it. Interesting time up here at this level, up here at 44.4, 2 nice weekly candles. We'll see if the bulls can take it, and or if the bears do. So that's all I had for you for Friday. Enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. If anything happens, we might do a video, but I'll be with you in the Telegram. And please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.